Hi, everybody. I'm Annette. I'm a compulsive overeater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the gray sheet. I commit them to my sponsor. I don't eat in between no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing in my life, without exception. And I'm abstinent and grateful. And I mean that. It's the most important thing because if I don't have my abstinence, uh, anyway, I'm very grateful. My abstinence date that I just say is January 20th, 2016. I've been doing Gray Sheet for 27 years now. And I just passed, my original abstinence date was March 9th, 1999. And I've never left. I'm one of the fortunate people. I had a relapse and it terrified me. Horrible. There's other recordings with that in it. And I don't recommend it, but I was fortunate. I was so scared and so terrified that I immediately, as once I told my sponsor, and it took me like 24, 25 hours to tell my sponsor. But the second I did, peace and relief came again. I had, if you're in a situation where we're having, you're struggling and you're not abstinent and you're trying to talk about it. So that was my experience. The second I told her that I had relapsed, I knew I was going to be okay. And I was, and thank you for that. I'm just, I feel like one of the most grateful, the lucky ones, I guess. My highest weight was 210. And I'm sure got up to 220 or something or more, but I didn't weigh after 210. I couldn't handle the fact that I was over 200. And I've been maintaining an 80 plus weight loss all these years. My weigh day is nowadays is no big deal. I weigh 130, goes up a pound or two, down to, it's no big deal. It's like, I am just so grateful for that. And when I was talking about weighing, I have to tell you a story. When we were in Europe, we didn't take our scales, obviously. I mean, our weighings, body scales, the big scale. And so every weigh day, we would, when we got into a town, we stayed in different towns and countries for a year. And we usually stayed everywhere for about a month. And so when it was weigh day coming, we would find a pharmacy and see if they had a scale. A lot of them had a scale right there in the pharmacy. You could just put in 50 cents or euros, whatever it was, and weigh yourself and get a little printout. But sometimes there was not a pharmacy. And so what we would do was we would go to department stores like a Walmart or whatever kind of a hardware store. One time that was in Paris, it was a hardware store. We would go in and look at the scales like we were going to buy one. And we would stand there and chitter chatter in case somebody was watching us on a camera or whatever. And we would act like, oh, well, let's try this one. Oh, this one's in grams or what, we don't want that, and blah, blah, blah. And we'd have take them out of the box even and stand there and, and stand on them. And then we'd hurry and take a picture of our weight because a lot of times it was in whatever the other weight. And then we would go home and translate, figure out what our weight was. And that was just, it was a hoot, but it's what we had to do to do our weigh days because, we couldn't, you could skip a month if you're on a trip or whatever, but, this was a whole year. So we kept and we, we weighed every month. It was just kind of a fun adventure. Um, so I am I'm just so grateful to have a program today. I feel like, I'm 68 and I feel like I'm just barely starting to learn the truth about myself. And, for years, qualifying on a meeting. It's like seems so scary and it's like I've been stressed out about it and stuff and trying to keep my thoughts together and figure out what's relevant so I don't bore you all to death. And, the truth is, it sharing my story or qualifying on a meeting is just something that we do to stay abstinent. It's not like what I know is that that's an ego thing. I want you guys to think I'm amazing and wonderful and sound eloquent. And that's just not who I'm not really that amazing. And and it's just something that needs to be done. Thanks, Stacy. It's, it's a gift, and it's something, so that newcomers know that this program works. And, people may not, I somebody might not want what I have, but what I have is abstinence. It's like I'm all over the place with my emotional abstinence, my growth, but I am physically abstinent, and with that, I have the ability to grow and change, and I am. I'm at a place where I care about what I think of me more than what you think of me, and I really think that that's happening for me. I'm learning about just noticing myself, and I go to meetings where they're quality meetings where people are honest and open, we're connected, and this fellowship is the most amazing thing. We have such, I mean, all of you on this meeting, I know I've known you from this meeting for years, and we grow and change, and we have awarenesses. But if I'm not in a meeting on a regular basis, I go to a meeting every day. If I'm not on a meeting, sometimes, I well, people, when stuff happens, when life happens, and there's a situation, somebody said in the meeting that morning, or yesterday, or whatever, pops into my head, and it helps me. Like when you have an insane thought, which, whatever, that can be anything. The first thought wrong, it's like there's the space. I get the grace to have the space between the thought and the action. I don't have to act on insane things. I mean, my brain is still an addict, really, at heart, but I don't live in that addict anymore. I'm all about joy and peace and love. I do yoga every morning. I wrote my own mantra. I was thinking maybe I'll share this. This is my goal every morning, and I read this when I'm doing my yoga and my spiritual practice. It says, I am peaceful, loving energy. This is to my precious highest self. I am peaceful, loving energy, allowing my true nature and highest self to emerge. I open my heart to be a free and open channel for love. I relieve myself from old beliefs and judgments, that I may act in my highest good in each situation. I use my difficulties as my teachers and demonstrate to myself and others this power of peaceful, loving energy in this gray sheet way of life. And, that just kind of centers me down, the third step prayer and things like that, the serenity prayer, those things are tools that I have. And also the things that people share in meetings, and journaling is a really great tool. I'm loving journaling every day. And, things come up. Sometimes when I'm journaling, I write things that I don't even think they went through my head yet. They come out on the paper, and I, am able to navigate situations that I wouldn't normally have a clue about what to do. But I'm also not alone. This community, and having a sponsor and having sponsees, I mean, we're just, all of us have insights and inspirations. And if we're willing to talk about them and share them with each other, we all get to benefit from that. I mean, I feel like I'm just the luckiest person alive, really. I mean, and especially in times, I made this mistake of seeing a glimpse of the news this morning, and, that can just really bring you down. I mean, I have to take a deep breath, and it's like, okay, get back in the moment, start thinking, thoughts about recovery and the rewards of being sober. And, I don't have to live in, fear. I can turn fear into acceptance, and I can, consciously switch my thoughts, because I used to just kind of terrorize myself with my thoughts, as Louise Hay would say, and I don't have to live like that. And abstinence gives me that opportunity, and it gives me the opportunity to be present for other people, to actually listen to other people and care at a deeper level. Because when I'm selfish and into myself, when I'm listening to you, I'm hearing you talk, but I'm thinking about me. Thanks, Stacy. I'm just thinking about me. And, you know, having low self-esteem, which I've had, my whole life, it's like that is a different kind of ego. I didn't know that. I thought I was such a good person and I'm so wonderful and I care about everybody. But it's like, I'm still thinking about me all the time. And so I can just recognize that and really, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a different person sometimes. It's like um when things pop into my head, I'm just grateful most of the time. Life still happens. Let's see, what else do I have? And when we were in Europe also, my meetings are such a priority. We took just the little tablet and I was able to do my meetings. I didn't have to miss any of my meetings. And that was just amazing. It's like the preparation and the willingness to do what we have to do, what I have to do to maintain my abstinence. I mean, there was a lot of prep work, getting the Airbnbs, and we would research how close the grocery stores were to there, because we were going to walk. We planned to walk everywhere, and we did. And planning the one all-in-one meals, and we learned some hard lessons, like don't ever this was our experience, don't wrap an all-in-one meal in foil and have it in your carry-on, because that stopped us. I mean, I thought we weren't even going to get into Scotland. They took like probably 45 minutes. They took our stuff in and out of that bag over and over, and we're trying to find what was in there. And so anyway, just stuff like that. I mean, there's just so much information to share, but the preparation, it was fun. It was like fun learning different recipes and ways to be abstinent. And, like today we're going to be gone. Um, we're having some work done on our van and we're not sure how long we're going to be. So we have our lunch. I made it last night. It's all ready to go. We don't have to even think about it. If we're not home in time for lunch, we have it with us. It's just what we do in Gray Sheet. And you guys have taught me that. And it is important, because having clean abstinence is the most important thing. And it creates a stress-free day. I don't have to worry, oh, I got to get home, got to get home. Things like that, make it so that I can't be present in a situation. And we're going to be, with my daughter and my son-in-law at the shop where it's being fixed. And so, it's fun. I get to enjoy my family in the meantime. I get to enjoy life instead of constant worry. And I'm a worrier, and I'm grateful for the ability to pause, take a deep breath, because worrying isn't fun for me anymore. I used to thrive on misery, I think. And today I notice it and I turn it over. I notice it and I turn it over, or I, think something pleasant, or think about somebody else, like, get out of myself. So I think I'm done sharing. I just am grateful for the opportunity to be here. I'm grateful to see everybody counting days. It's like, just keep doing it and you're going to be amazed before you're done. It's just such a wonderful opportunity to have a life, the life that I always wish I'd had, but it's better late than never. So thank you for asking me to share today.